Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to do that if you like this, then you should try this recommendation video. I have about 14 books to recommend to you today. They all range the gambit from Mafia Romance to cheating trope, from Billionaire Romance to young puppy love. I even threw in some urban romance and a little bit of country romance. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into it with the set that really started this video idea. I am currently reading a little bit of Mafia Romance, and my favorite Mafia Romance to date is one that I read last year, which is Sinful Vow by Asia Monique. This is the first in its series, and what I love that Asia Monique did with this one is it has all of the Mafia families that you're known and used to. So you have the Yakuza, you have the Bratva, you have all of these Irish mobs and other families that you typically see, but you don't see it reflected with diversity. And in this, Asia Monique said, hey, I'm going to give you all of those mafia groups, but I'm going to make them Black and have Black children. And I love that she did that. In addition, this one is an arranged marriage where I love the FMC just as much, maybe a little bit more than I love the MMC. And I thought that I was never going to be able to get another romance that hit the vibes such as this one until I read Sinful Serenity by Mary C. Kim. Now, I'm going to recommend these two as a pairing because everything that I just told you is very, very similar in this. So in Sinful Serenity, you have obviously a mafia that has an arranged marriage. Now, the difference between these two is this in Sinful Vow, the families don't necessarily hate each other. However, in Sinful Serenity, it is an enemy slash rivals to lovers romance. Both of them are in these arranged marriages because they either need to settle and have peace. There has been a war that has broke out, whether it's territory based or it is based off of wrongdoings accused of. And so in Sinful Serenity, I felt like this one was the perfect pair for Sinful Vow, not only because it had the title very, very similar, it also had an FMC that I really grew to appreciate, that I really was like, okay, yeah, she's a baddie and she's not taking anything laying down. Like, she is a mafia princess herself. And so I will tell you, if you like Sinful Vows, I will tell you to check out Sinful Serenity. I just read it. Now, this one is a little bit shorter. This one is only about 251 pages. Sinful Serenity is a good 385. However, this one is going to give you so much spice, so much tension, so much buildup. So these two pair perfectly well. Now, if you're looking for something that's high action, high stakes, you actually like a thriller book, I'm going to tell you that S.A. Cosby can do no wrong. You know, I typically read a lot of women writers, but when it comes to a man, there is no male writer that I trust more than S.A. Cosby. This one is going to be a action-paced thriller that has a MMC that is coming back to town to take care of some mess that his brother has gotten into and has drug in the family business, which is a funeral home. Now, this premise, I was like, okay, this is so unique. I'm never going to read anything like this. Haha. Charity Shanae has Love's Deep cover, but make it a romance, right? So the vibes are very, very, very similar. In Love's Deep cover, you have an FMC who is actually going undercover. She is in training to be an FBI agent, and her first case is where she is going to see if she can get our MMC to confess that he is responsible for these gun shipments and that he's responsible for a lot of things that are taking place. He actually isn't responsible, but it's through the guise of his funeral home, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. Now, I will tell you, these two have very, very similar antics, and when you're looking at this one, you're like, why didn't he leave his brother? Why didn't he just say, hey, baby, you own your own? That is the same vibes that I got with Love Deep's cover. I'm very much looking like, you made your bed, you're going to lay in it. But If you were wondering why the romance in S.A. Cosby's books never really become the forefront, that's because you need to be checking out Love's Deep Cover. These two are very, very similar in the fact that you are pulled into the action. You want to see how the characters are going to get out of this. The male main characters are beloved. Like, everyone in the town loves them. They are doing really, really well. And their siblings are having a little bit of envious and spiraling, but they love their brother. They love their siblings enough to be able to pay for their sins. I love that both of these have like similar dark elements. So you can see on the screen, this has that black and red So As Love deep cover. If you're looking for something that has similar vibes in relation to crime activity, centering a funeral home, I'm going to tell you to check out one of these two. This next one is going to be very, very controversial. I'm going to tell you, when I read this last year, I devoured it and I loved it. And it's been having its resurgence in limelight ever since, because it is now traditionally published. That's going to be Miss Candace Soul Ties. I adored this one. Now, it is controversial because it is a cheating trope. And it is more so because this couple is married. Now, this couple is married. The male main character, his wife is pregnant and she can't fulfill her wifely duties. So she's like, okay, I'm going to give you a hall pass. I don't want to know nothing about it. I just want you to go out, enjoy yourself, and relax, come back home, and we're going to be all good. Well, he goes out, he meets a woman, and he has the time of his life. He can't stop thinking of her, but he's like, I'm going to do right by my wife. I'm going to come back and do everything accordingly. Next thing you know, the woman that shows up at his doorstep is the new doula, who also happens to be the woman he had his night of passion with, and she moves into the home. Now, again, this premise sounds very, very messy, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, if you feel like you can get with this story, I'm going to tell you the next recommendation that you should read is The Opportunity by T.M. Richardson. Again, very, very similar, whereas you have a married couple in here, and they decide they need to spice up their romance. The FMC finds out that her husband has some kinks that she is not necessarily aware of, she is not necessarily a fan of, but he's like, hey, let me have you explore and find out a little bit about yourself and see what we like and we experience together. So they go out to a pleasure club and they see this exotic dancer and they're like, okay, let's go ahead and invite her to go over and do a little dance for you. Now, she starts to really fall for this woman, and it opens up a lot about herself until she does an interview for a new nanny. And that new nanny just so happens to be the woman that she started to fall in love with at the club. She moves her into the home, and things get a little bit reckless. Now, again, these two will push you out of your comfort zone, especially if you're like, marriage is between a man and a woman. There is no outside entities. Anything beyond that is inexcusable. I don't really know how it goes, especially when you have kids that are being brought into the situation. So be mindful. These will push you out of your comfort zone, but they pair so well together. And if you like one, you may or may not like the other. Now, if that's not your jam, and I very much understand why it may not be, but you want to say, okay, I'm looking for people with money. I am looking for something that has an older set of characters, people that are experiencing life, that have made a name for themselves and now want to share it with others. Most likely, you, like me, love Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. You have a woman who has her own money. She has her own business. She is at the top of her game. She is dealing with some family circumstances that calls her back home. She gets involved in this man who seems like he has everything together, but maybe it's not the right time for her. There is a little bit of high stakes when it comes to their involvement with each other. One of my favorite, this is actually my second favorite Kennedy Ryan book. I absolutely loved and adored this. Also, couples who don't necessarily want children. Now, if you like this story, I'm going to tell you to pick up Chaser by Therese M. Clarke. Again, very much giving the woman has the money, she has the means. Billionaire Romances. Both of our FMCs make good money. They also meet men that make damn good money and may make more money than them. Also, a really good pairing between the two, whiskey. Let me tell you, the whiskey lover in me absolutely had a time reading this book, especially this one. What they did with whiskey and what this one did with whiskey, baby, I beg to find a man that likes whiskey like this and would be willing to use it like this. These two are my recommendation. If you like, can't get enough, tell you to pick up Chaser. Again, they fall hard for the FMC. They are willing to sacrifice any and everything for them to make sure that they know, hey, I just want to help you. I want to see you shine. I don't want to take anything away from you. I understand life has a lot going on. You got some family things, some family dynamics, some trauma that we need to care for. I'm going to be here to do that for you. These two go really well together. If you want to fall back into your youth, you want to have a little bit of puppy love, and you like really good writing, fantastic storytelling that has, some parent dynamics that may push you to be like, oh no, your family wrong as two left shoes, and you like Audrey Bash Just Friends, where it is a summer theme. You get to see them doing little dares and adventures, getting to blossom and find that love looks differently for them than it may have looked for their parents. If you like Audrey Bash Just Friends, I'm going to tell you to pick up This Could Be Forever. These two are so stinking cute and they're so similar. You've got different types of ways of growing up. You've got someone that has, their parents weren't really there for them. Their parents kind of just said, hey, this is what I want you to do. These are the path and the steps that I have set before you. And these young people want to explore life on their own, or they're so wickedly smart. Both of our FMCs are so smart and so accomplished, and they're growing beyond what their parents ever dreamed of them, and their parents are afraid and they kind of try to stifle their growth, and until they meet the MMC that is willing to see them flourish, that wants to be a part of their journey, that sees them and knows them and like, yes, let me continue to bring you into my fold, let me help you experience life. These two are so similar in that the way in which we get to see culture, we get to see creativity. I believe in both of these, there are tattoos involved. And I just think that if you like this one, you should really pick up this one. The writing is stellar. If you have read from Tia Williams, or if you have read from Ebony Liddell before, you know that their pen game is strong. And she is a vet in the young adult space, while Tia is just journeying into them. But this is going to be perfect for the younger women in your life or the younger men in your life that want to see themselves have a love story and want them to be able to experience joy and happiness. These two are my recommendations. If you are following this country craze, right? Country music, you are really enjoying, finding the vibes of a love that has some family dynamics, some family drama, some secrets that have been held, and you like August Lane by Regina Black, I'm going to tell you to pick up Riffs and Refrain by, I think it's Ty. Y'all, these two definitely have that. There is some secrets centering a song that went really popular and someone had some wrongdoings. There has to be a little bit of forgiveness with a little bit of miniature sleuthing. There is what the music industry is like and how you navigate that as a Black person. There is some beautiful, touching scenes in which these two have a connection that is built over time, and it's deeply rooted into the fabric of themselves and really not wanting to get lost in your partner. And even though you've done that before, but willing to take a chance on love. When I tell you, I learned so much about country music and its roots and and the trials and tribulations that people have gone to and sacrificed in order to see themselves reflected. These two are beautiful pairings, something that I just appreciated. And I believe they both have audiobooks, which I would encourage you to listen to. I listened to Riff and Refrains. It was originally in audio before it came a physical format. And I just adore Regina Black. Now, the last recommendations I have for you is what you've seen in a thumbnail. If you like romances in which there are two couples, not just one, but you're getting two for the price of one, two couples that work extremely different but pair and they're friends and they get along and the craziness is afoot. You can't turn away. You have to see what happens. You're trying to determine which couple you like better. It has a element in which there was wrongdoing and someone is giving themselves over as payment. If you like Demon's Dream for that reason, you appreciate how Dream was like, okay, well, I'm going to give myself to you for 30 days and I'm going to repay my father's debt. You probably are going to like The Baker's Bully by Misha Mesh. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is a bind up. This is two books in one, and this one is just one. These are both fast paced, action packed, where you're going to be holding on by your fingernails by all of the chaos that ensues. In this one, you have an FMC. She believes that her man is out cheating, in which he truly has been. And in this case, it was wrong. She went to go break up his car and she knocks on the door and she sees that the car that is outside is not her man's car. It's another man's car. And he's like, oh, you're going to pay off your debt. And she was like, okay, well, how much do I owe you? And he's like, no, you ain't going to pay off your debt in that way. You going to be mine and you going to work at my establishment and you going to work for me and only me. Yeah. These two books, the secondary couple is the couple that you're like, okay, well, they're a little bit more refined. In this one, he owns a bookstore. He's a little bit more buttoned up, but don't let the suit fool you. The man is still a savage. In this one, you've got Smoke. Smoke owns his own restaurant. The man is distinguished, but baby, he don't play. Both is like, hey, I cut somebody over you. And it's like that on site immediately. This one has 3 and 4. You've got Smoke and Demon. I loved the reading experience of this. I loved being able to see, how things unfolded. They're definitely got some family drama in both of these. Both of these have family members that I would willingly fight any given day of the week. If you like Demon's Dream, check out Baker's Bully. That being said, I want you to do me a favor. Leave me a cookie or a cupcake emoji for the Baker's Bully. If you have a recommendation that you're like, okay, if you like this, you probably should read this, leave it down in the chat below. Or tell me which one of these you agree with or disagree with, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.